Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. From a very, very rainy morning here in Columbia, South Carolina. Appropriate weather to start a storm therapy journal. I am just going to talk out loud today. Nothing is getting accomplished. I am very nervous to start this journal, probably because I've touted so much how art is therapy. And is this a proving what I talk about topic? Pretty much. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm still as crazy as I was? What if I'm still afraid of storms? Which I've never been afraid. Well, I mean, there are times when you need to be afraid of the weather, or at least respect the weather. And I do respect the weather. Right now, I'm a little nervous every time it starts windy, raining, storms. Because we have that all the time, especially in the summertime in South Carolina. Every afternoon, there's a chance that the humidity combusts with, this is me being a weather person, combusts with the clouds or whatever it does and creates thunderstorms, and it breaks the humidity and you start all over the next day. We haven't had that kind of weather this year at all. We woke up to rain this morning. That's very unusual. Usually you go to bed to weather issues. Everything is just weird. Everything is weird this year. Nothing's been right since 2020. In my life, nothing's been right since 2019. It's just weird. Just weird. Life is different. Life is just different. And the weather is playing along with the whole weird world game right now, I think. My opinion. Of course, just my opinion. Tomorrow will be a better day, Scarlett. If you're from the South, you understand all that. But I do want to just talk some things out, and I'm talking it out with you guys. So I do know that I want to, I love how this came together so easily, and I love the whole thought process about it. I printed out some weather things. This is our lake, which I told you before, it's a little bit of a rectangle, and we're on the northern side of it. Right on the water. And that plays a big, huge chunk in the weather around here too, because all our weather comes from Atlanta, and which is like 4 hours away. And when it gets to this lake, probably to this little part right here, where the bigger water starts, because this is 500 miles of shoreline. This is a big lake. And when it gets to here, it kind of goes either north or south. A lot of times south. This is a much greener section of South Carolina than this. Why the heck is that called Somerville? Somerville is by Charleston. Anyhow. Okay. Sorry. So this water, and it's a very deep lake, this water creates its own weather pattern. Not very often does it come across here. And we're on the tip of one of these right here, in here. So it really, by the time it gets to us, it's either fizzled out or it's really strong still. Mostly fizzles out. But then it collects itself back around and like Sumter and Orangeburg and all the stuff south of Columbia gets a ton of rain, a ton. It's just this lake plays a part of the weather too. And that's me just living here for 30 years saying that. I have no degree in weather situations, and you will rapidly see that. But I do know that in the last 2 weeks, the weather has been really weird around here. And that tornado that came over our street, they're not calling it a tornado, they're calling it something else. I need to look that up. Something like not a downspout, but a down directional spin or something like that. But I mean, it snapped trees that are as big as my desk. Oak trees, not just dead pine trees, oak trees, live oak trees. And they're all splintered. And when that happens, it's because they've been twisting. So, and they clocked 80-mile-an-hour winds. To me, that's a tornado. Coming from hurricane country, that's a tornado. But technically, they still haven't declared it a tornado. But the poor man across the street that doesn't have a house, I think he thinks it was a tornado. Every morning, we still hear chainsaws going, and that just brings me back to Hurricane. What was the hurricane that came through here in 1989? Hurricane Hugo, where I was in Sumter, which is an hour east of Columbia, and we were inland. We thought we would get rain and wind. We did not have any clue that we would get as much of the hurricane as we did. That's another weather phenomenon. And hearing trees pop outside around a brick house, and then coming outside, and you had 3 trees on your roof line. You had 2 cars destroyed in your driveway. We backed up to some really swampy areas, which a lot of Sumter does block back up to, because between here and Sumter is a lot of swampland and rivers and everything else. And that weather pattern created, those waters created a twister that came through our street. And you heard chainsaws, and that was much, much worse. Much, much worse. But you heard chainsaws for months. People still trying to get a hold of it, and we had no power for a week. Here we only had power missing for 17 hours, I think it was. And that's me and first world problems. We're very lucky here, very lucky here. I think about what would have happened in Vietnam, where I was 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. That weather would have destroyed entire villages, because they're made so up in the mountains where we were, and they wouldn't have that kind of weather. But just saying, if they had that weather, that would have destroyed those villages, all of them, every house, because of how poorly their houses are constructed because of circumstances. Yes, tomorrow I'm starting my storm therapy journal. Am I nervous to start it? Yeah, because I don't know what it's going to do. I don't want to know what it's going to do. I want it to be all intuitive. That's how I like working. This is just paper that I've put together, and I like, a lot of this is repetitive for you guys, but if anybody new in 17 or 2027 watches this, I want them to know that I do work intuitively, and I've got paint on my hand. Anyhow, so I get sidetracked very easily. I do like to work intuitively, and whatever happens, happens. If it gets wild, if it gets more writing, if it gets more photo, if it gets more technical with weather terms, because I always say too, I love learning by journaling. I do a lot of learning and journalings in journals. I studied some women of California, which was where I grew up. I studied women of South Carolina, which is where I've lived for most of my life. The adult side of me has lived in South Carolina. I've done Mark Twain. I've done Michael Palin. I've done all kinds of travel themed journals where I've learned something. Always, always, always. And I'm constantly learning, and I want to constantly learn. So maybe it turns technical. I don't know. I do not know. I'm just hoping that at the end, every time I see massive thunderstorms with possible cells creating other problems on the news, I won't say, oh Lord, here we go again. I'll be okay. Which is how I was before this all happened 2 weeks ago. So that is to say that I made up my own prompts. If I use them, I think I will. I'm going to start out using them. This is just I also like, this is going to be repetitive for other people. I also like to, even though I don't like to plan, and I like to work intuitively, I need a guideline, because I get frozen. If I don't have some kind of direction to take my weird, whatever happens in your brain when your hands take over and your brain takes a back seat. So I made my own little things, and I'll put that in here in my journal. But my thought process is to take this through the end of July, so I have enough to take me through the end of July. Thunder, oak, floods, flashlight, because we used a lot of flashlights that night. Pine, chainsaw, stumps, flashbacks, tree litter, which is, there's debris everywhere, which I now see I have those two here twice. 11:50 p.m. is when it happened. Wind, cell, the tornado cell or whatever it was, splinter, which is what those trees did, the chicken coop that was destroyed and all the chickens that were gone, a hole from all the trees that are being torn apart, torn down, and the stumps ground. So there's holes everywhere in people's yards now. Hail, which is, we had hail, tree, debris, lightning, frightened wildlife. I think about the wildlife because we've had deer and beaver and raccoons and everything in our yard in the last 2 weeks. Where were they during the storm? What do they think of? Do they have the Weather Channel? I don't think so. And then a flip through. So that's just how I think. That's what that's my guideline. Do I stay? Is this written in stone? No, it's in paper, so it's flexible. I'm flexible. I just don't know where I'm going to go. But that's what I'm going to do starting tomorrow morning. It started out raining here. We woke up to rain, lots of rain this morning. I'm going to try to put a little video clip in here of how it looked from the front porch. But yesterday, my husband did take me to Good Postage because he is a good husband. So it's fitting that he took me to Good Postage. And I only got a couple things. And Judy, who watches this video every day, this channel, is the one that told me about it. It's in Charlotte. We went on the back roads to get there because in the summer here, the interstates are crazy because of all the beach traffic. Everybody coming from up north and west to go to South Carolina beaches, which are very popular, even from North Myrtle Beach to Hilton Head. Our entire coastline and Charleston included in all that is very popular. And half the country comes this way for summer vacation. And it is crazy going back because our infrastructure here is not geared for it. We are the capital of the state, but Lord have mercy, we are not progressive by any means. Anyhow, I bought another, this teal colored insert because I love this. And I think the other one I have is at the beach. I bought another coral one because I love this color. And I think my other one is at the beach. Then I bought these. These are, individual little tiny pockets that you can slip pictures in, and they're stickers. So you can either have a whole sheet of them or little bits of them. And they look like that individually. If you can see that, hopefully you can. But I thought that was cool. And have they changed their packaging? Because I love this packaging, and this looks very like Apple. It's very minimal. Anyhow, I got a couple postcards. I got a sticker. I love that. Oh, I did get 2 pencils that are from Caran d'Ache, which I love that brand, but they're black, so I'm hoping they're supposed to be water soluble. Let's see. I need a piece of paper here. If they are, because I'm low on my thin Stabilos. Okay, so far it feels good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm going to take one and leave it at the beach and keep one here. And I know I have other Stabilos here. And I probably have one at the beach already too, but you can't have too many of those in my book. Oh yeah. I got another. This is a, what do you call those? Whatever they're called. Iridescent. But that's December 18th, 2017 is when Good Postage opened. Can you see that? It's iridescent. This is what I was mainly looking for. Stupid Instagram. I wanted these so bad. Do I need these? Heck no. They were only $8. But I've seen everybody, all the popular kids, the ones that I watch. Just the ones that I watch. I don't know who else is doing it. putting their Neocolor 2s or other stuff in these like warm, cool. So that's what I want to do too. But I don't know how many are going to fit in here. Okay, this is cool, 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 warm, cool. This is kind of a warmy green. And this is white. That doesn't count for anything. All right. Warm, warm, warm. I think that's cool. These two are cool, cool, warm, warm. Oh, they might. I don't know. Cool, warm, cool, cool, black, and cool. I need to use my tips. Some of them are a little too long. I have more cool colors. Warm. This might be a warm green. What color is this? Light olive. Okay. This is a dark olive. That's a warmer color too, I think. Okay. Don't worry, I will not get rid of this. I love this thing. But it's hard to transport, and it doesn't stay closed anymore. That's my theory. Okay, so I can get these done. Let's see. I'm going to cut this sticker off. The sticker can go on my Hobonichi. Kurtie, you think I need to take my cover off? Will that help me preserve my spine longer? My Hobonichi is so... I need to color this thing down a little bit. It's so thick already, and we're not even through July. Okay, I need to use those two up. Let's just leave those out for right now. So the warm, the red, I figured, and the green for cool. They had blue, red, and green. But I decided to get green, even though they look like Christmas colors. These two will go in here. I just got to shorten them. But look. Silliness, I know. But it was so hot yesterday, and of course, we had the dog with us. And we went up there, had lunch, and came right back because it was too hot for the dog. And of course, he can't go inside restaurants as you can in Europe, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Yeah, a couple postcards of the outside, and some stickers from my Hobonichi, and some traveler's notebook. That's it. Oh, and these good pencils, which I needed. And nothing, I don't think anything else is going on. Riding out the storm today. So see, everything is shrinking. Everything is shrinking except for the paper pile. That's new. My thought process is to shrink everything so that I'm carrying less and less back and forth to the beach. Because I take about 3 tote bags of art supplies back and forth to the beach. I have enough clothes down there. I don't need to do anything else with clothes. We don't take any food or anything like that. Everything, except for the first and the last trip. We might clean out our refrigerator of like condiments. We have learned to bring condiments and things like that down to the beach with us. And if we have some full ones, really full. And the same thing going home. If we have really full ones, we bring them here. Otherwise, we leave them. We throw them away. I know. But we try to use everything. The last 2 weeks, we're really using everything we bought grocery-wise that we hadn't eaten yet down to the nubs. Last year, we were great. We hardly threw anything away. But we're getting better and better. This will be our 4th winter, which is crazy. We go down, for the new people, we go down in October, and we have our beach house from October through March. We rent it in the warm season because it rents much higher, and it pays for itself that way. It pays its taxes, and it pays its lease payment that we have to pay for the privilege of having a beach house in this spot. And it's in a secure gated place. And so it's secure, and it's rented. The entire time we're not there. The entire year, this year, it was rented. The entire 6 months. So we have 6 months on, 6 months off. And we don't rent it at all from October through March. But we come back and forth a little bit. Now, last year, my husband came with me almost as much as as I was. We come home about every 2.5 weeks or so for a day or two, check our mail. Our neighbor is wonderful and takes our mail in and calls us up. He watches our house. He has a house key, calls us if there's anything going on. But we're lucky like that. But because my husband has been working remotely, like half the world, from COVID, and he's slowly but surely retiring a little bit. He's pretty much like a consultant now in his own business. The girl that he's hired is working out pretty darn well, and she's doing all the grunt work and the leg work and the correspondence and all like that. And then they meet once a morning on Zoom, and he says, do this, this, and this, and I'll do this, this, and this. And they're like, okay, call me if you have any questions. The big issues he takes charge in, but little by little, she's doing great. So it's easier for him to work from the beach. He just hauls he has a desktop and he hauls it back down there. And plugs it in, and he has a spare bedroom that he can use as his office, so he can get away, because he has hearing issues, and anything I do over a tiny bit of a breath is too loud for him to hear. But if I yell at him in the house, he can't hear me. But if I make that kind of a noise, it drives him nuts. Any kind of distractions, the way his ear, the only one he has left, works now is all background noise is extremely loud, and anything close or behind him he can't hear, which is a whole nother story. But anyhow, so he's with me, and we do quite a bit, together down there. But anyhow, so I have a craft room at the beach, which is a humongous walk-in closet in the master bedroom, which we do not use because we don't have that many clothes, and we have 2 dressers in the bedroom that have tons of room. So, well, actually, one's a dresser and one's a huge wardrobe. And so the master bedroom closet is my craft room, and I'm able to close the door. I'm out of earshot of my husband. The dog can't get in there, theoretically. So it all works out good. So these are staying here. This might go, but, and these will go back and forth, but that's a much smaller container. And I love yellow, gold, and white. That's all gouache. So that's, my true must-have colors. So theoretically, maybe I can get away with 2 bags this year, going back and forth, which is great. And now I have newer color 2s in a much more portable container once I get a couple more short. I've seen people break these apart and keep like a set at home and a set in a to-go bag. I can't make myself break them. I can break a book apart with no problem. I can't break these. I'm having a hard time with that. Anyhow, okay. That's a lot of talking for no video. All right. So be back here tomorrow. I just ordered something that I'm really excited about, but I'm going to reserve my opinion until I get it. And it's all not sponsored. Nothing sponsored here. My husband is my sponsor. He doesn't know it, but he is. Anyhow, so see you all tomorrow in stormy weather. Thanks for watching. Bye.